enjoy you. What a great pleasure to meet once again. What a great pleasure to meet each other. What a great pleasure to meet old schoolmates. What a great pleasure to meet old classmates. After many years, women.
After many years.
Whoa.
After many years.
Yeah.
After many years.
My brother.
Auntie, after many years.
My sister.
After many years.
My father.
After many years. After many years.
Enjoy yourself.
Enjoy yourself,
My brother.
enjoy yourself,
My sister.
enjoy yourself,
My father.
enjoy
My
yourself,
sister.
enjoy yourself,
My city, Abakwa, may not be as big as New York City or Paris or Lagos or other places. But with just 348,700 people, as per the census of 2012, we pride ourselves as a very creative and innovative people. Of course, by creative, I mean that we are able to conceive from zero and put to the limelight a lot of things. And by innovative, I mean that we can put into action for the very first time, or we are ready to accept and put into use lots of products that might have not been elsewhere or might have been elsewhere but not brought to us. My people are that daring. They can invest their resources into many things that they do not really, have them around them, but they feel convinced that these things can work. If you come to Bamenda, you'll be surprised at the kind of businesses that people do in my city. They are daring into cars, daring into different models of technological equipment, hospital or medical equipment if you want. My people in my city are daring into different types of things, particularly the things that make them stand out, that make them creative, and that make them innovative. I'm sure you must have seen online or even practical a gentleman who was daring to make his own helicopter in Kumbo, that's the headquarters of Bui Division, several kilometers away from where we are, several kilometers away from Bamenda town, from where we're bringing to you this edition of the BD show. Of course, away from that, you've heard young men who've tried to be as innovative as much as possible, creating things like aeroplanes or helicopters in this part of the country. That is Bamenda. That is the big BTS city. As I said, we may not be too many, but we are very creative and super innovative. And that's why we're bringing to you one of the young men in this city who's daring enough to be innovative. A kind of technology that has not been known in this city before, but we're having it right here and in Bamenda. I can even dare to say I'm not sure this technology is already very much known in Cameroon and so many other parts of Africa, but it is already right here in Bamenda. And these are the few, amongst the many others, are the things that make us thick, that make us unique. I'm glad to welcome Kimbi Claire. He is an innovator, I must use the description, and he's serving us some technology that you will not want to miss on today's edition of the BD Show. So wherever you're watching us, know that Miro Entertainment is serving you another edition of the BD Show this Saturday evening, and we're glad to be with you. I don't know how you spent your weekend. Mine was beautiful. I had a couple of things to do, and earlier on today, I was doing a wedding where I really feels quite good. I took some good... you understand the things that we do during weddings. So don't ask me what that was, but it was a fun-filled moment. And I think we're transferring that to our show, that we intend to make it as hilarious as much as possible with our special guest. Kimbi Claire, you're welcome to joining us today.
Thank you very much, Derek.
We're so honored to have you, sir.
I'm glad to be on your show.
Kimbi, that's the name from which part of the Northwest?
From Com.
From Com?
Yes.
Ah, okay. So you speak some Italian, Com?
Yeah. I do. Not as fluent as Tangicom is,
yes,
but I speak it very. I think I'm very much understood and I understand Tangicom very well.
What are the few things I remember in Tangicom?
Tulaima is
no. That's what I was escaping from Tulaima to sound big as well.
That's true, because everyone should know Tulaima.
I would say, boy.
Kunojo.
Yeah. You see that? I wanted to say the ones that are not
everyone knows.
So we're glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
Some interesting thing you remember about the com people you want to share on the BD show?
Com people. Usually, people know com people for fufu with the condition.
Okay.
Yeah, like in the traditional wedding marriage. The big, the big fufu with the small cat.
Yeah.
That's, I think many people know com people for that.
Fufu with condition.
Yes.
I actually heard that from one guy. How I wish I can have him on my show, but they call him Bedek.
Yeah, good.
I went for a traditional wedding in Com and I heard that for the very first time done by Bedek.
Yes.
And I was told that Bedek was a teacher. Hi, Bedek, we're thinking of you. If you're following the show, want to greet you. For to condition. That's why
he does what you do for traditional marriages in Com.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
Some kind of emceeing, but it just makes the place really lively.
Yeah.
I think that his name has become like a position or like an activity. You know, you go for a wedding and say this is the grading of this wedding. Because he did it so well. People started calling,
someone who does that as a grading.
Yes.
So I was almost asking the question because someone showed me the guy. He was huge.
Yeah.
And told me I was a teacher something. And then later on I went to Fundong for a wedding.
Yeah.
For a traditional marriage ceremony. And I met another guy and they introduced him as Bedek.
Yeah.
So I was now asking now, but is this guy paying the copyright for Bedek to the other one?
That's
and then I'm sure the guy was not able to, the person I asked could not explain to me like you've just done.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming. And to all our com people who are following us wherever you are, if you are following us in Lycom or anywhere. I've been to Monloin, I've been to Chuako, I have been to Ginicom, and to many parts of Boyo Division, and to be more precise, the Com land. I've been to many parts, so we're thinking about you. But for those of you who are out of the country, know that we're thinking about the people from your place. And if you are out, we remember you and we're wishing you all the best wherever you are. When you also remember to come back to the Com land, the Com kingdom. In fact, my very good friend, one of my teachers used to call it Com country. So I hope that the Com country people will have you back home as soon as you achieve what you're doing out there. Kimikla is here for something very special. But then, Kimi, are you sure this is what you wanted to do in your life? I know you to be in communication.
Yes. I wouldn't say this is exactly what I wanted to do, but I have wanted to be involved in technology.
Yeah.
As a whole. As I grew, what I wanted to do changed, or, as you get to know a little more things, you start. So I started off, I did electricity in secondary school.
Okay.
And I made that decision very early, like in class 3 in primary school.
Okay.
Yes. So I got fascinated just by seeing someone use a tester to test the light, the switch. So my elder brother came back from school and he had that electrical test board which looked like a Bible. You open,
I remember, yeah.
Yes. And there was a tester in it. So he opened the switch in our room and he used it. And I was like,
and there was light.
There was light.
It was
he
looking
took
like
off
some
his
magic.
hand, the light went off. He did it again, it came on. I was like, this is it. It never changed.
Yeah.
I never changed my mind about what I wanted to do from that day. So secondary school, I did electricity, high school, the same. After that, I got introduced to telecom by one of my teachers in high school.
Yeah.
After advanced levels, I was like, so what will I do now? He introduced that to me and said, it's a good field. He told me what was in it. I liked it. So I registered to write the entrance into PNT, School of Post and Telecommunications.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, then I had no phone.
Yeah.
So I was in the village, came and registered, I went back.
Yeah.
Later on, the writing day changed. They tried to get to my mom. At that time, she had not had a phone for very long, so she was not very used to. She could keep it here for 2 days.
Yeah.
Very few people would call her. So that happened. They changed the day. They tried to get to me. They could not, so I did not write. Then I thought of options, and then there was the National Polytech. They came up and told me. I was like, okay, I'll go and try it. And then I went and I did telecom. Instead of doing power system, which was a direct continuation of what I did in high school, I said, no, this is where I want to go. I want to do telecom, not power. I had some resistance actually.
Yeah.
Some people were like, "No, it will not be good for you. You did power, electricity, so do power system." That thing had come to my mind, and that was it.
Yeah.
So I did telecommunications, and that's been the field. But as I work, as an audio editor, I've been around many journalists.
Yes, of course.
Some people can see me and feel like I did not do journalism at all. What I do just involves a lot of journalists.
The guy looks nice like a journalist, He looks nice. He does things like that. He speaks well, So he's always around us, so we think that he's one.
Yeah, so some people, but I didn't do journalism at all. So I walk around so many of them.
That's right.
And over the time, while in school, I did a project on biometric access control systems.
Okay.
So that's what I did my project on. At the time, there was just one, I can't remember, someplace at Commercial Avenue that installed a biometric fingerprint time attendance system.
Yeah.
They really did not even know what that thing was. I'm sure someone came and did it. I had never seen it physically.
Yeah.
So I took it to be my case study. I studied it, did a project on. And it was good. I was the first who did a project on something like that. It was good. So later on, when I was just thinking about my life, I thought about it and I felt, why not just do something around that?
Yeah.
It's become a little popular, but there are so many other things about that kind of technology.
It's also growing.
It's also growing. Yes. So I thought about it and started reading a little more, and then came out with this concept of, I saw this concept of smart homes.
Yeah. Before we get there, let me take you back. When you fell in love with electricity and other things, did you try to do something in school? Because there's this period we used to call handwork time when we were in primary school.
Yes.
And we'll have guys who used to, I had very creative guys in my time, so they would bring batteries from their home. They were very rich.
And
in my house, we hardly had radio, so we never had used battery for us to bring. But then we used to pick some. I'll put together, try to form a long touch.
Yes.
Or even make some radio to talk and things like that. I don't know whether I had that experience.
Yeah,
You try to do things like that?
Definitely. In school, we always tried to do things like, there was always the battery for a torch, or we did, we used to do these wooden cars. And so sometimes we use those batteries to do a small circuit to control that head. So it's almost like a robot, but and it was very just for you to be able to put batteries and a little circuit and see that happen. But also one thing which we used to do was amplifiers.
Yeah.
So you have your small CD player and you just fabricate a small amplifies the sound a little louder than it would be.
Yes.
And that's it. You feel proud. You've done something big.
But to have imagined that young boys around Bamenda, I wouldn't want to, but let's admit that it's the rural parts of our region.
Yes.
Would come up with such thing without being in an IT class, without being an electricity class. It's something unique that you could be wondering, how come we're not the center of a lot of technology in the world?
That's true, because sometimes our minds really run wild. Sometimes when I sit and think about things I've seen people do here, I'm really fascinated, because there are things most of them have never touched.
Yeah.
Some have never really seen. They're just imagination adapting something from another one, and something new.
And providing solutions to our
and providing
problems.
solutions. True. And that's something we really need to encourage. We really need to encourage. Maybe just, for me, I feel like just showing people what I'm doing inspires someone to start what they are thinking.
Yeah.
Because for me, it was a little crazy. I spoke to some people about what I was thinking of. Some people are like, for the Bamenda. For the, we don't even get internet. For the Bamenda.
Yeah.
And that's, someone may just have that same idea in their head, like, well, this thing I'm thinking about is too wild for this our side of the world.
Yeah. I still remember going to Kijom Ketingo. That was in sometime many years back. And I met a young man who said his people were not able to listen to the state broadcaster, and he started his own small community radio. tied his things alone. He did everything there alone. He had a funny microphone. Everything was looking just funny. But he was able to capture sound in a village from the state broadcaster that people were not able to. He captured the sound and was distributing to people at home. And now, when he was free, he would go and be greeting people in their place. That was his community radio he had started. I don't know where Elvis is today, but he's a young man I admired so well when I got to meet Getting for the very first time. He called me from time to time when I was working for Radio Abakwa. And finally, I had time to go to Getting to see him. And I was amazed. I asked him that, but have you ever seen a radio station before? He said, no. Have you ever seen how they fixed one before? No. What happened? How did you get here? And the young man narrated a few things. But he had provided a solution to his people by helping them listen to very crucial announcements and things like that. So I think that there is something that we need to do in our communities around the Northwest to make sure that young talents or talents like this do not disappear, right? That said, let us discuss the business for which we brought Kimi Claire here to you. I said he's an innovative guy of exceptional class, and he's already told you how he decided to do a project on the biometric attendance control in workplaces. But today, he started talking already about what he calls smart homes. Let us agree, what is that? Because when you say something is smart, we expect it is fast. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it moves, so don't want to imagine that a home is moving. So tell us what that is.
Well, it doesn't move. A smart home basically is an arrangement that allows you, the user, to interact with things in your home.
Okay.
Yes, to interact with things in your home.
Interact with what? With my chair or with my TV or?
Okay, with electronic devices.
Yeah.
So the thing is, your gesture can initiate an action in your home.
Okay.
Yes. So that's smart homes are just a way of, first of all, the intention of smart homes is for power efficiency.
Okay.
That's the first. It also is for
power efficiency?
Yes. Some people would argue that you use even more energy.
Oh, that's exactly what I meant.
But no, it's not so. If you know what to do with your smart devices, you use way less energy. For example, in your home, there are periods where you lie on your chair and you doze off.
Yeah.
Your light is on, your TV is on, but no one is watching. But if you're in a smart home, your home can identify that you are not active. Turn off your light, turn off your TV. Maybe dim your light so that when you wake up, you don't stumble. And that is just limiting how much energy you use. There are several things in a home. For example, you go to work in the morning at 7 a.m. Just imagine on a day you leave your home and there's no electricity and your light was on. So your light may be on the whole day till you get back.
Yes.
But in a smart home, there are appliances that can notice, for example, a motion sensor could just be a small device somewhere in your home which notices any kind of movement. And if you program that device to notice that there is no movement in 5 minutes and do anything, for example, in my home, after 7, if there is no movement in my parlor, my light should go off in 5 minutes. That means either I'm not in the parlor or I'm sleeping. Okay. So there's no need for my light being on at that period. And when next there is a movement, that light comes back on.
Okay.
So it just gives you the possibility of interacting with your home. That I just call it your home.
Yeah.
It's not everything electronic devices. And something like a typical example that I talk to people about is many people have microwaves in their kitchen.
Yeah.
And they know how that works. A smart one would add something new to what that particular device does, because if you're in a home with someone who doesn't hear, someone who has a hearing impairment, for example, a microwave, normally the way it works is when it's done cooking, it produces a sound.
Right.
So if you're not in the kitchen, you know, oh, it's done cooking. But if someone is in the house who doesn't hear, when it's done cooking, they would not know.
For sure.
They will not know that it's done cooking. But if you're using a smart one, what you can do is program your microwave to interact with other things in your house, so that when your microwave is done cooking, your light can come on or blink. as an indication that that process is finished. So a smart home can interconnect several things to behave in a chain. So if you know what it does, you already, this process links with this one to do this other one.
Yeah.
So it also, one very crucial thing which I have noticed, I've not heard so many people even in the West talk about it, is because I work for a disability program.
Yeah.
I see that bridging the gap of people with disabilities being unable to function on their own.
Of course.
In homes, you need someone to do this for you. You need someone to open the curtains for you. You need, even we traditionally, our switch positions are usually at a certain height.
Yes.
So someone on a wheelchair,
for example.
yes, someone on a wheelchair, for example, would find it difficult turning on. So they would constantly need someone turn on the light, turn it off. But if you are using a smart home, there is a switch, or your mobile phone. The most practical is a mobile phone. So you can use your phone to control your home. So smart homes are applications under a concept in IT known as Internet of Things.
Okay.
Yes, they call it IoT.
Internet of Things.
Yes.
Are we going to remember these definitions? The one from smart home to IoT. All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
And IoT, Internet of Things, it simply describes how things interconnect with each other over the internet.
Okay.
That's simply what it has several applications which smart homes are just a part of, but it just describes how things interconnect with each other over the internet. So cyber or interconnection of phone to phone is an application of IoT.
Okay.
Yes.
So did your work in disability inspire you getting into this as an innovation for the people?
Yes, very, very much, because there is a part of disability work which is known as accessible technology, that is for people with disabilities. And it's from very small things, very small as using your voice recorder, which you use.
Yeah.
So if you give it to some, say a student who is blind, it turns from just being a voice recorder to an accessible device, a technological device for them to record their notes and listen back at home.
Yeah.
Getting to very complex things like embossers. An embosser is a printer version for a blind person. So it prints for blind people because blind people don't use the same kind of writing as sighted people do.
Yeah.
And it's I would say complicated technology.
Yeah, really.
So
really,
it
sounds very complicated.
Yes. So it's just to say.
So it can only be in the hands of a few. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
You can only make this available to a few. Now, when we asked Claire to come, we also asked him to prepare, some practical things for us to see. And so Claire will be doing an illustration. He will choose. He's talked about many things that you can control. We talked about the switch, the microwave, the many things you can control via the smart homes technology. And so he's going to be illustrating, here in the studio exactly one of them. You explain to us what that means, and then some practical work. And after that, you also want to know something about Claire. Such a nice guy. Maybe he should be married. Something about his religion. Whether he eats as well. This kind of plain people, you may be thinking that he's eating when he doesn't eat. So he has some special thing that he eats. So he will tell us just after this break. As we go for the break, remember, this show is brought to you by Miro Entertainment, located in Bamenda. Of course, we pride ourselves with outstanding video production equipment and, of course, video transmission equipment on social media or online. We customize your event. If you are out of Bamenda and you have events here that you want to watch, we can customize them for you to watch in whatever location of your choice at high definition. Okay? So you can always trust us on that. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
What a joy, what a joy, what a great pleasure to meet once again. What a great pleasure to meet each other. What a great pleasure to meet old schoolmates. What a great pleasure to meet old classmates. After many years, women.
After many years.
Whoa.
After many years.
Yeah.
After many years.
My brother.
Auntie. After many years.
My sister.
After many years.
My father.
After many
Oh,
years.
this.
After many years.
You're welcome back. You're still watching the BD show from Bamenda, of course, the city of a people who are exceptionally creative and innovative. And today we are glad to bring an innovation. Of course, we are also very happy, very pleased to bring to you the innovator. And this year, I promised you before we took the break that we're going to be having some practical demonstrations of what he was explaining. People like me, I know some of you out there like me, and the explanation was not making a lot of sense. Sometimes it's very complicated to understand. He even admitted that it was very complicated technology. So let him help us out to understand. He's keenly clear, and like he told us before, he works in a disability program. So he is doing this. To him is about his passion. He's an IT enthusiast, and he's very much into all of this. He will now be explaining, of course, with example, what his smart home technology is all about. Yes, Claire, you're welcome back.
Thank you very much. So I'll be using just a few things. This is a light strip. I use this to demonstrate just so that people can see the difference. But this can be any device in your house.
Okay.
This can be a microwave. This can be your TV. This can be maybe your curtain motor. This is a curtain motor which is plugged to my curtains, so it automatically can open and close. So I could connect this in place of this. But this is just to do an illustration.
Please let me touch. People are out there to show you that I can also touch it. I'm enjoying myself. I'm touching it, right? So, yeah.
And this is a door sensor.
Okay.
Yes, this is a sensor, and you put this to your door and it detects when your door is open or closed. So in this setting, it shows that your door is closed because you put it on both sides, one on your door shutter and one on your door frame in close proximity. So that once it is like this, it detects that your door is closed. So once you open, it detects that your door is in open condition. And this is a switch, a wireless switch. So this you can use to almost control anything. You can program this switch to control just about anything because it has different combinations. It has a single click, you just click it once. It has a double click.
Yeah.
You can also have a long press, you can press. So you can program each of these clicks to do a different thing. For example, a single click can turn this on.
Okay.
While a double click turns on your curtains.
I see. And
a long press maybe turns on a smart socket which maybe your TV is connected to.
Okay.
Yes. So that is it's just a simple setup. So this one is a light strip which you can use any way you want to use. I'm sure many people have seen something like this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we've seen them hanging in buildings.
In buildings and stuff like that. But this one is different because it's a smart device. It's other ones just have a remote you can just control. But this one can respond to commands from other smart devices.
Okay.
That's usually
like smartphones.
Yes, like smartphones. So I have my phone and I have it already installed. So I can use my phone to turn it on or off.
Okay.
I can turn. So I have my house in my phone basically because we are doing a demonstration next to this, but the way I use it far away from home because I have my home connected to the internet and my phone connected.
Yeah.
So I can monitor and control my home even when I'm not in the house. I know when my curtains are open or closed.
Yeah.
I can choose to open my curtains when I'm not in the house. So you can have the impression I'm home because you see my light going on and off, but I'm not in the house. So a smart home,
be a good security technique, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. There are also cameras you can mount in your home, smart cameras that can also trigger other things.
Yeah.
So the basic thing about smart devices, it has the ability to trigger other responses. So a camera A typical camera would just be able to show you, there's someone at your door.
Yeah.
But a smart camera will be able to tell your door, if you're using a smart door like I'm using, whether to open or not.
Okay.
Yes. Whether to open or not. It can also say, okay, if there's someone at your door, turn on the light at the front door.
Okay.
So that's a smart device just give the possibility of triggering other small actions that would suit your personal life. So you can change it any day. That's the good thing. It's not like they are static things. Well, single person like myself, I can have multiple. But someone who has a family can trigger them down so that they are not a burden to other people. Your light doesn't keep coming on and off when the child runs across the parlor.
That's right.
Yes, so it's tailored towards your needs, how you want your home to function. Yes, you program these things to function just that way. So this can be anything. For example, one of the good things is you can actually measure. This is a smart plug.
Okay.
So when I have this plug connected, so usually I have my fridge connected to a smart plug.
Okay.
And I have...
Which means the smart plugs are relatively strong.
Yes, they are. They are strong. So what happens with this is I can monitor how much power my fridge is using, because this one will tell my phone how much, like it can give you a daily count of how much energy your fridge has used.
Yeah.
Give you monthly. So you can exactly monitor and see how much less or how much more energy you're using. And so this one works perfectly in a fridge in this way. There is also a smart thermometer. So I have it mounted in my fridge and I've set temperatures. So there are certain times your fridge goes so cold, there is no effect of how colder it gets on what is inside.
That's right.
As long as it's on, it keeps running.
Yeah.
But I have set that thermometer to turn off this one once it gets to a certain temperature.
Okay.
And once that fridge starts getting hot again to a certain temperature, it turns it back on. So my fridge is only on when it's necessary.
When it's necessary.
Yes. So it cuts down how much power how much energy you're using. Not using, how much energy you are wasting. Because at that point it's a waste. You're not using. Sure. It's just wasting. So that's very little. There are very complicated smart things, like really complicated, like a robot cleaner. Those are very complicated things which you put in your house and it can clean your floor at 10 a.m. or 10. Those are, but to very small home appliances, you can see its functionality. You can see how it functions just in maybe your door. One of the things that I like to talk about the most is my door lock. It's very practical, though many people see it like it's not possible. I don't have it here, but my door doesn't require me using a key, because I use my fingerprint to open my thumbprint to open it. Just like you have a fingerprint lock on your phone.
Yes.
That's what I use for my own house. So I don't have to stand at my door.
There must be a special door. If you are using our wooden doors, how will you use fingerprint?
It's just the lock, which is a smart lock.
Okay.
But you can mount it to any door. So you come and use your fingerprint. It has a number pad like your phone. You can input a password. And the practical thing about that one for me is not just being able to use your fingerprint. Is I am able to send you to my house now. You have access to my house.
Yeah.
But in the next 5 minutes, you cannot get back inside. So I can give you the passcode to my door, and you use it, and in 5 minutes that passcode is no longer functional. You put that same passcode, my door doesn't open. So they are permanent. So they are permanent friends and temporary friends.
Yeah, permanent friends and temporary friends. Really.
So you give a temporary passcode to a temporary friend. You need to do something in my house. You do it in 5 minutes. You're gone, because after 5 minutes you can no longer use it. But you can give a permanent code or have that person's fingerprint registered so they can open and close anytime. Yes.
This makes a lot of sense. Is the light off?
Yes, it's off and I can turn it back on.
Oh, you see that? You're turning that on from the phone, and
Yeah.
this is really. So, where's the one you said was for the blind? So I can
For the blind, yes. So this is the motor for my blind.
Yes.
So you attach this to it's the normal blinds we have, but it's just that I have like rails of a train. It comes with rails
Okay.
where your blinds move on.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use your phone to open your blinds. You can use even the switch to open open your blinds. But you know, sometimes people think of, oh, what happens when there is no power?
Mm-hmm.
So this one still, if you pull it like your normal blinds, it would still open.
Okay.
Yes, though
That's
some
what-
resistance, though
Yes.
it will not be as fluid as when it's powered. You open it, it would still open. You close, it still does.
Mhm.
And so, and there are some of these devices that are like these ones. They have inbuilt batteries, so they should work even when there are some things that can work even when there is no power or no internet.
Mhm.
But now it limits them because the protocol, which these smart sensors, they are sensors that use, so there are things that have batteries inside. So Wi-Fi is a communication protocol in
Yeah.
IT, just like Bluetooth.
Of course.
And smart gadgets have another one besides these two called Zigbee. And Zigbee, it's almost just like Wi-Fi. It has, so the main property of that protocol is that it's low power.
Mhm.
So this battery can run for a way longer time than if it was Wi-Fi or Bluetooth.
Yeah.
So they make it in such a way, and then it also has low data rates.
Okay.
So it can transfer stuff on way lower data rates than if it was Wi-Fi.
Mhm.
So it would rarely have much of a problem
That's right.
as compared to if it was Wi-Fi.
Which means that for more indications, I can have a smart home as well.
Yes,
I can have. I hope it's not too costly to have.
No, it's not. That's exactly what I'm trying to let people know.
Yeah.
When I talk about this, people see it as too foreign, like it's not possible here. So I started.
It's possible in Bamenda.
I started.
Here we try everything before.
Yes, I started like doing this in my house so that I can tell you this is what I'm running on. So that you know me, you know this is just this guy you see every day walking up and down.
Mm-hmm.
If he hasn't, then it's possible
Then
to
it's
run.
possible.
Yes. So I'm just trying to inform people as much as I can. I run a YouTube channel just so I do each. I can take this one and do a video 5 minutes just explaining down to what it does and very small things about it, so that people can get used to. You can see it and see it in practical use in the house and things like that. So people don't see it so much like a wild idea which is not practical or it's not feasible for our setting.
Please, can you off this light and put it on again?
Okay, that I
from
can
your
do.
phone.
All right.
You know, this is the one that looks like magic. You hear that there's a smart door.
Yes.
It will fingerprint doors open. Put code that expires in 5 minutes. You know. You see that the lights are off, they are back.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. That's okay by me. You can only start learning this when you get used to Bamenda. When you're watching the BD show, coming to you from Bamenda, you can have things like this. Come to you just come face to face with some modern day innovation and technology that can assist you live a more happier and a friendly life. Of course, we are counting down our minutes towards the end of the show now, and it's time for us to know the other side of Kimi Claire. Claire said that he's still single. You said that somewhere in the show. I
blew it out. I blew it out. Yes, I am still very alone.
Mm-hmm.
very, very alone. I like to say it that way.
Let me say hi to Richard Atemojong. I don't know where that idiot is right now. But I know he's somewhere. You know, hi Rick. I hope you're doing cool. Man.
Yeah, I told him I was coming to be with you just before we started.
Don't worry, we'll send your own version.
Yes.
I don't know where you are, so don't ask me a question.
Yeah, Richard is one guy with very wild, crazy ideas.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry.
you hear this kind of thing, I'm alone. I'm singly alone.
Singly alone. Yeah.
So how are you managing your singlehood with all of this technology? But I'm sure it's started helping you to do all of this.
Yes, it is. It is. Because it takes a lot of, there are things which you not just find someone doing to say, hey, how does this one work? So it takes a lot of time to study them individually. Sometimes you take what the manufacturer says it would do,
Yeah.
and you need to practically see it happen and see what will be the challenge for us here. So
Yeah.
it takes a lot of my time. Yes. And so I get to really be, some people recently have said I'm a loner. I gladly accepted it. I don't like being one, but that's what it's taking me right now. But I'm enjoying the life anyways. It's not like this is all what I do. Yeah. A lot of football is no.
And keep fit too, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's one thing too. I've been doing quite much lately. I play football, I watch it, I do sports, and just trying to encourage some people to,
For more indications, you'll need a counselor when you decide to have someone with you in the house. Because to be able to have a human being fit into this smart context, human beings are not smart. Yeah. We are only smart to a certain level, but not like this.
Yeah.
To have a human being fit into this smart home, I'm just imagining how it's going to look.
I hope. No, God would definitely send the person that would fit. It's that's unless I go and find. But if God finds and brings, I mean, she'll definitely fit.
Okay.
And
that also means that he's searching, or he's hoping to have. He may not be searching, but he is ready to receive if God offers him one.
Yes, very, very much. I'll be very, very open, like the arms like that. Openly open.
Openly open.
Yes.
Okay. That said, I know people from Com, I know they like a lot of. You talked about fufu with condition, but I know most of the time I buy numbers.
Yes.
Buying numbers, that's fufu, corn, and jama.
I like. Unfortunately, I'm not good at fufu. Like, I do it, but I usually want to do it very few times.
Actually, I was about asking the question. So if you like fufu, who does it for
because you? The results are not usually too good. I cook. I really do cook well, but there's something about fufu that usually questions how much I can cook.
Yeah.
So I usually cook the quantity that I'll eat all at once.
Okay.
Because I fear what will happen when I have to heat it.
Okay.
You might have to cook it over again. But for other things,
but doesn't know how to cook fufu, forget. It doesn't know. Don't worry. Maria and Sidoni, but others can cook fufu for you. They cook. I have myself. I used to cook as well.
Yeah.
But it looks like since I had somebody come in to stay with me, I no longer know how to cook.
I think that's okay. So I lived with Atemojong for a year. I used to cook before Atemojong, before we rented an apartment. But once I lived with him, he was so good. I feel like I'm wasting food if I have to cook.
Yeah.
So it just became his job. So I think it's the same thing with you. I mean, you don't want someone to say, no. It looks like this.
It looks like he complained.
No, just let him do it and you enjoy
Just do it and I eat.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, our show celebrates our city stars. You are one of them. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for helping us understand this technology. I hope that is going to help our homes. We will always want to pioneer. That's what I know about Bamenda. We always want to pioneer lots of things. And this is an innovation in the world of technology, and we think that we can pioneer that in Bamenda, and we're proud to be having that opportunity. In the meantime, are there some things that you really love about the city you want to share with us?
Yeah, Bamenda. The dressing. This our side of the world. Our dressing is, I don't do that very often, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Maybe because of the things that I do, I get to be very active, and when I put on our traditional dress, I act like a British man. No, that's their traditional dress, and sometimes they flip around.
Yeah.
But when I'm in that dress, I'm very composed.
You become too solemn.
Too solemn.
Too
I
official.
don't. So sometimes I don't like it because your boss can say do something and you're like, nah, I cannot hear it today. But I like our dressing and our food. Basic, like here I enjoy fufu, achu. like all our traditional meals
Yeah.
here. I mean, they're just, it's not like, they're just delicacies, I should say. They're just so nice. And when nicely done, it's just something else.
Yeah.
It's just I've had friends come from out of Cameroon. They tried it. The reaction at first is usually not, no. It's like they're still tasting.
Yeah.
But the confession is usually, man, that food was nice.
Okay.
Yeah, so this town is, we are blessed with food. And I like eating. It's just that
I like it too.
yeah, I like eating. I eat a lot. I don't cook a lot, but
You eat a lot.
I eat it.
Is there something we need to improve on as a people, as a city, as a community? Something we need to improve on?
Yeah, I think so. We need to be a little more daring.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to be a little more daring. Our town is it's growing. Our situation is holding us back a little, but we are far from where we were. We are far. I mean, we are seeing a lot of creative people in this town.
Yeah.
People who want to do things which, I mean, there is this guy who does something with trash. He does this blocks for pavement. When I saw it, I was like, wow, this town, this is great.
Yeah.
And so we are coming up, but we need to do a little more and just be able to, there's something we want to do great things, but alone. Like what you're doing here,
Yeah.
it's really great. It's putting people on the limelight. But a lot of people just want, oh, this is a great idea. I just want to push this on by myself. And sometimes we don't have what it takes to do it by ourselves.
Of course.
We may have that idea, but we need people to, consolidate all those efforts and all those skills to make it become big. And that's one thing I hope that I get. I get people who just want to see new things because it's new for us.
Yeah.
And so many people they want it to become old for them to get into it.
Yeah.
But I think that we are getting into that era where people pick up new things and move, and we need to improve on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You work in disability. Do you think Bamenda is disability friendly? Is it an inclusive city per se?
It's the most, I would say. We are not there, but in terms of how inclusive Bamenda is, I would say it's the most inclusive in Cameroon.
Okay.
But we are not there yet. We are preaching the message. It's slow, but we are not there. A lot of people. Once I went to UBA Bank, I saw a practice which was really good. I took it on my phone and I shared. So on the counters there is one section that said it's the fast counter is for the elderly and persons with disabilities.
Okay.
It was, when I saw it, I was really impressed. Some persons will see it as being discriminatory or favoring. But if you understand challenges of persons with disabilities and the elderly, which they're almost the same, an elderly person is almost, So when I saw that and saw the challenges, how difficult it would be for a person with disability just to wait, the challenges though, I thought to myself, well, we are learning and we are growing, and I was really happy. So we are not there yet. Structures are not really accessible, especially not like they are in other places, but there are things which we have put in place, like inclusive education. We are pioneering, I would say, in the Northwest. So we are ahead, but we are not yet there.
We're not yet there.
Yes.
Okay. We'll be ending now. And generally, when we meet on the show, what we do is that we make recommendations that we think can improve on our city. Yeah. Of course, we'll celebrate the things that work, and we make recommendations for what is not working, so that it can be improved upon by those in authority, particularly my interest, municipal authorities. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to make that recommendation.
The BD Show, it's about celebrating your people, celebrating everything about the people of Bamenda. Discovering such a city will be an amazing experience, made up of a variety of talents, people with diverse mental setups, talents, and abilities. They cut through the works of arts, to education, just to everything you want to know. Welcome to the BD Show.
And so you're welcome back. You can hear that little beep. Wanted us to take another smart home technology, to test another smart home technology, and that's the door opener. You could see him touching the beak and the small, I don't know, sensors. I don't know.
The sensors.
Sensor.
Yes.
I'm not doing badly, man. I'm improving as well. I've improved myself. So, so you could hear the beep, which indicates that the door is open.
Yes.
Okay. And the second, it's when it's closed.
Yes.
Okay. That's fine. So, Claire, we're finishing now, and I hope that you also want to make some observation about issues of gender-based violence in the city of Bamenda. Have you been able to come across some cases, or do you think it doesn't exist here?
It does very much. It does exist very, very much. And fortunately or unfortunately, we have a department where I work that deals with gender-based violence. So at least I get to hear of them as often as they occur, and they are really really very gruesome things that happen, things you'd never wish for someone to go through. And that is, we are evolving as humans to a position where these things would say are not supposed to still be happening. Some of them happen out of ignorance. Some are just people who want to exert some kind of authority in a very wrong way. And I think right now we need to really talk about it as open as we should. Because a lot of these things happen, and sometimes they're concealed in our homes. People go through a lot of things, and because of family, we cannot put this out because it's family and things like that. We need to talk about this as openly and talk about it especially to children too right now. Children should know what gender-based violence is and what child abuse is. Because some things grow as we grow. If we see it as it's okay, when we live through those circumstances, we just want to hold ourselves back and say, well, I saw this happen to my dad or my mom or my aunt, and they did nothing. And sometimes we just hold back. But I think that we need to talk about it every day. And if we see something happen, talk about. You don't have to only report if it happened to you. So you need to talk about it if you saw it happen to someone. You can save a life. It's sometimes the effects are not just physical. The mental illnesses develop from things like this. Gender-based violence. You keep so much in your mind. You conceal so much, and at a certain point you cannot keep it anymore. And some things start manifesting. And we start saying your relatives in the village are doing some stuff on you, and the person doing it may be just next bed to you or next room to you, and just because you did not talk about it. And at least we are getting help. There are people who can help in just counseling and in the legal department to handle things like that. But I think that it needs to be spoken about as often as possible.
All right. So thank you very much, Claire, for coming. Just to remind ourselves that Claire is a very dynamic young man from country, that's from Boyo Division. Allow me to use my country appellation. He finds a lot of pleasure in he says that he tells us something very special about his people. Fufu with condition, I keep that very well in my mind. And he's had time to explain to us how he became an IT enthusiast, an IT lover. And today he says that it all started from a starter. It looks like magic. You could test current with a starter with the touch of your hand, light will come on and off. And that's what inspired him. And today he came to our program like an innovator and presented to us some technology that is very, very new. And he calls that smart homes. And he had time to explain that with the smart homes, you may not only be able to save a lot of energy at home, you also save some, also take care of some security concerns. You can also have, a lot of things done faster. He's shown us you can open your blinds, you can switch off your lights, you can turn off appliances like the the TV using a smart plug, you know, and a couple of other things, including the microwave and clear things. And he's convinced that in the nearest future, he will get married in a difficult home, in a difficult smart home that he has. God will fit the right person into that home. Claire also thinks that he can try to make some fufu, but not too sure of the kind of fufu and mass or fufu corn and jama jama that he can make. But then he can do something. He likes it very much. He's passionate about. And he tells us that gender-based violence is a reality in our community. He appreciates that Bamenda is doing well in matters of inclusiveness. I mean, Bamenda is improving. We're not where we could be or we should be, like he says, where he thinks that Bamenda is doing relatively well in that line. He advises that the people of Bamenda as a people, we need to be very daring. We need to try as much as we can to try to get into new things. He loves the fabric of the Bamenda people, or the official, or the outfit, the dresses, the traditional attire of the Bamenda man. He also loves our food, you know, and a couple of other things. I don't know whether I forgot something from this quick summary that I wanted to do, Claire.
No, I think that's what we've spoken about. Maybe just to remind, if someone wants to, you know, see the practical stuff that I do with the devices, they could check out on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on YouTube, MC Smart Homes. So you can see all the things that I do and break them down. I break them down and you can understand them a little more, because, you know, I'll be doing individual devices and not just a bunch of them.
Okay. Until we meet again next time, of course, this has been the BD show for today. Signing out. Special appreciation to my entire crew. I'm thinking about Mari, Abdul. I'm thinking about Sidoni. Everyone who took part in the production, we're particularly grateful. And we'll be here again next Saturday evening for another edition of your friendly, Bamenda-oriented show. That's the BD show. For me and everybody here is thank you and goodbye.
What a joy, what a great pleasure to meet once again. What a great pleasure to meet each other. What a great pleasure to meet old schoolmates. What a great pleasure to meet old classmates. After many years, women.
After many years.
Whoa.
After many years.
Yeah.
After many years.
My brother.
Auntie, after many years.
My sister.
After many years.
My father.
After many years.
Oh.
After many years.
Enjoy yourself.
Enjoy yourself,
My brother.
enjoy yourself,
My sister.
enjoy yourself,
My father.
enjoy
My
yourself,
sister.
enjoy yourself, so.